evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. Madhavdas G. There is, of course, news coming in as far as the Telangana government is concerned. Big breaking news at this point of time ahead of polling in Telangana. The Election Commission has stopped Karnataka government ads in Telangana. Ads were highlighting Karnataka government schemes. They were released in Telangana and the Election Commission has found these ads violative of the Model Code of Conduct. The Karnataka Chief Secretary has been asked to explain this by tomorrow. Let's take this across to Somit. Somit, we had seen earlier today the BJP complain about these ads that have appeared in newspapers in Telangana, which they say highlights the schemes of the Karnataka government, which is not going to poll. But clearly it appears that those schemes which were promised in Karnataka are quite similar to the ones that have been promised in Telangana, and that's where the problem stems from.
Well, Madhav, I know if we take it from since beginning, since 2014, I know they haven't mentioned it in the manifesto. But when it comes to the Rythu Bandhu, they wanted it as mainly we can say that was the pilot project of the BRS party, the brainchild of the Chief Minister KCR, and that has ensured that BRS gets back to the power in 2018. And since then, for 10 seasons, they have they've disbursed the amount of starting from 5,000, 6,000 to 10,000. So now they wanted to disperse this the final amount for the Rythu Bandhu and for the Yasangi season, the summer season, as rainy season investment has already been done. So they wanted to ensure that that reaches the farmers, and Madhu, that helps directly the farmers, because that changes the mood of the farmers, because that scheme has changed the mood of the farmers in 2018 and ensured that BRS gets into the power, the pension and the Rythu Bandhu, the main two projects we can say, and they are comparing it with Karnataka and asking ECI to give the permission for the disbursement.
All right, we'll have to see how all of this plays out finally on the day that the votes are cast, and that is on Thursday. Just 24 hours, less than 24 hours of campaigning left. Remember, the campaign period ends at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. We'll have to see what further happens as far as the political fight for Telangana is concerned. Thanks so much, Somit, for bringing us that quick update. Let's quickly take this across and in fact bring to you the details as far as this particular Rythu Bandhu scheme is concerned, because 3 days before Telangana votes, the Election Commission has put a halt on disbursement of funds to farmers under the KCR government's Rythu Bandhu scheme, also known as the Farmers Investment Support Scheme. Rythu Bandhu is a welfare program for farmers under which they are given 5,000 rupees per acre of land twice a year, once for the Kharif crop and once for the Rabi crop. Now, the poll panel has earlier granted permission for disbursement of funds, but with the condition that the state government will not publicize the same. However, State Finance Minister Harish Rao not only violated this condition of the EC, but also the Model Code of Conduct by announcing that money will be dispersed at a particular time before the polling. The poll body now says that there shall be no disbursement under the scheme until the MCC ceases to apply in all its forms. Listening to what BRS Minister Harish Rao said.
ఇయాల ఆదివారం, రేపేమో సోమవారం, కానీ రేపు సోమవారం ఏముందంటే కార్తీక పౌర్ణమి. జర రేపు కూడా సెలవే ఉన్నది, కార్తీక పౌర్ణమి. ఇయాల ఆదివారం, రేపు కార్తీక పౌర్ణమి. ఎల్లుండి మంగళవారం పొద్దున్నే మీరు ఛాయ్ తాగుతారో లేదో మీ ఫోన్లు టింగు 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 టింగున మోగుతాయి. ఇక రైతు బంధు పైసలు పడతానే ఉంటాయి, మీ ఫోన్లన్నీ టింగు టింగున మోగుతాయి. తయారుండరు, ఇక తయారుండండి. కాంగ్రెస్ వానికి ఇప్పుడు గుండెల జారిపోతున్నాయి ఒక్కొక్కరికి. ఇక అబ్బో రైతు బంధు పడేయండి, నిన్న ఇవాళ పింఛన్లు తెచ్చుకున్నారు, ఏళ్ళుండి రైతు బంధు పడుతుంది. ఇక మర్చిపోతారా? మా పెద్ద కొడుకు కేసీఆర్ అంటారు.
This blame game has erupted after disbursement under the scheme was stalled, with the KCR government blaming the Congress for the same. Chief Minister KCR himself trained guns at the Congress party, saying it was Congress leaders' complaint that led the Election Commission to put a pause on the payout. Even State Finance Minister Harish Rao, whose statement the Election Commission has cited behind the stop on fund disbursement under the scheme, has pinned the blame on Congress.
ఈ కాంగ్రెస్ వాళ్ళ గోస, వాళ్ళ బాధ పాపం, ఇట్లనన్నా గెలుస్తామేమో అని లంగతనం చేస్తా ఉన్నారు. మొదలు మళ్ళీ పోయిండు, దరఖాస్తు పెట్టిండు, రైతు బంధు ఆపిండు. వేయనని చెప్పి నేను చెప్పిన అధికారులకు బంధు పెట్టిండు. ఒక్కరోజు ఏమని వాళ్ళు పర్మిషన్ ఇచ్చింది, ఎవరు ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్. మళ్ళా కాంగ్రెస్ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ నిరంజనుడు మళ్ళా మొన్నటి దరఖాస్తు ఇచ్చిండు. రేపు రాబోయే పైసలు మళ్ళా కాంగ్రెస్ ఆపింది. నేను ఒక మాట చెప్తా ఉన్నా, కాంగ్రెస్లో కూడా రైతు బంధు తీసుకున్న నాయకులు ఉన్నారు. కార్యకర్తలు ఉన్నారు. మరి మీకేమైనా సిగ్గుమానం ఉందా అని అడుగుతా ఉన్నాను నేను. మీరు ఎట్లా సపోర్ట్ చేస్తాను కాంగ్రెస్కు? రైతుల నోటికాడ బుక్ ఎత్తగొట్టాలి.
కుట్రలు చేసినా రైతు బంధుకు అనుమతి ఇచ్చింది. నేనెక్కడో మీటింగ్ మాట్లాడి న్యాయం గెలిచింది, ధర్మం గెలిచింది, ఎన్నికల కమిషన్ రైతు బంధు క్లియరెన్స్ ఇచ్చింది, యాసంగి పంట పైసలు పడతాయి అన్న. ఇలా నేను కొత్త విషయం ఏం చెప్పినా? రైతు బంధుకు ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ అనుమతి ఇచ్చింది, ధర్మం గెలిచింది అంటే ఈ కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీకి చెందిన కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ నిరంజన్ గారు దాని మీద దరఖాస్తు పెట్టిండు ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్. హరీష్ రావు రైతు బంధుకు పర్మిషన్ ఇచ్చింది ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ అని అంటున్నాడు. దీన్ని ఆపాలని చెప్పి ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ కు దరఖాస్తు పెడితే ఇవాళ మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళు ఆపమని చెప్తున్నారు.
However, KCR's ally, MIM, has also echoed the same, accusing Congress of trying to ensure that benefits don't reach the farmers.
कांग्रेस पार्टी ने इस पर ऑब्जेक्शन दिखाया. ये तो ऑनगोइंग स्कीम है, बरसों से चल रहा है. तो इस ऑनगोइंग स्कीम में कांग्रेस पार्टी को आपत्ति क्या है भाई? अगर कोई नई स्कीम होती है तो हम समझ सकते थे. ये तो नई स्कीम नहीं है. तो अचानक कांग्रेस पार्टी का ये बोलना कि इसको नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए, इससे साफ जाहिर होता है कि वो किसानों को फायदा नहीं पहुंचाना चाह रहे हैं. आप उसको रुका दिए हैं. इसका गलत मैसेज जा रहा है पूरे तेलंगाना में.
Congress, meanwhile, has hit back at the BRS government, saying that it is squarely to blame for farmers being denied assistance under the Rythu Bandhu scheme. Congress workers also staged a demonstration against the state government, burning Chief Minister KCR and Minister Harish Rao's effigy for violating the poll code.
BRS కుట్ర వల్ల హరీష్ రావు అతి వాగుడు వల్ల రైతుల ఖాతాలో పడాల్సిన రైతు బంధు పథకంలోని నిధులు ఇవాళ ఆగిపోయినాయి. దీనికి కారణం హరీష్ రావును లాగు ఊడేదాకా కొట్టాలని చెప్పి నేను కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ కార్యకర్తలకు తెలంగాణ రైతాంగానికి విజ్ఞప్తి చేస్తున్నా.
केसीआर कांग्रेस के ऊपर झूठा आरोप लगा रहा था. यानी केसीआर कांग्रेस पर झूठा. भाई रैत बंधु से हमको मिलने वाला कांग्रेस ने रोका. अरे इलेक्शन कमीशन ने रोका तो तुम हमको कहते हो कांग्रेस ने रोका. क्या हमारी गवर्नमेंट वहां है? उनके झंझट में नहीं जाना चाहिए. वो सब झूठ है. कांग्रेस आपके साथ है. आपके दिलाने के लिए हर कोशिश हम हमेशा करते रहे.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And for more on this fight, let's go right across to our guest. Joining us, Anil Antony's leader of the BJP, Tushar Gupta, senior editor of Swaraja, is with us here in the studio. With us also is Rohan Mitra, political analyst. We also have with us Lagani Shrivas, political analyst, who's leaning towards the BRS. But Mahesh Bigala, who's a leader of the BRS, joins us on the broadcast. Let me start with you first and foremost. You violated the conditions of the election commission, and that's why ultimately this scheme is not being dispersed. First and foremost, why was there a violation of the election commission's conditions? First question to you, Mahesh Bigala.
Okay, so this Rythu Bandhu scheme, it's ongoing scheme. It's not the new scheme which is being announced by the Minister Harish Rao. If you look at this is the 11th time that we have done the 11th time disbursement through the Telangana government, and it happened during the 2018 elections as well. We sought the permission from the ECI, and Election Commission has granted the permission to disburse just one day before. And in the public meeting, and he announced that, we got the confirmation from the EC to distribute. But the Congress, they knew that, they wanted to make it as a poll agenda, and immediately they wrote a letter to EC. And EC.
But let me just stop you there. The Election Commission clearly said no publicity, that there can be no rally related to this. And he also says this is why the Congress is now sweating. So clearly there was a political point being made there by your minister, despite knowing fully well what the conditions of ECR, Mr. Bigala.
It is not to add the new beneficiaries. There are several conditions part of it they given in the 2018. But as a part of there were several media personnel asked that, what is the stature of the Rythu Bandhu scheme? And the people are have apprehension that, that you will get the money in on time or not. So that's how Harish Rao wanted to make it clear that, we got the clearance from the Election Commission. This is a continuous scheme. It is not the new scheme is being announced. And you will get the money because of the Saturday, Sunday, and on Tuesday, your accounts will be
Yes, 2 days before the polls, your phone will start ringing, ting, 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 when you're having your morning tea. Well, that clearly, of course, as far as the Election Commission is concerned, they believe it's some kind of an allurement. But let me bring in Rohan Mitra, since you're blaming the Congress party for all of this. Rohan Mitra, it's the Congress's fault that you complained to the Election Commission.
Good evening, Madhav. Good evening to your viewers. You know, the BRS is blatantly lying out here. As you clearly said, it's a clear violation of the Model Code of Conduct. You know, this whole Rythu Bandhu scheme, the money is supposed to be disbursed between Jan to October. Now, what I understand is the BRS had taken permission from the EC that their government can, the money will go out, but there should not be any blatant, obvious marketing of this in their polls. And as you see in your television, in the speech made by this the minister Harish Rao, he's clearly trying to get the people on board, saying that, you know, your money is going to come. Mr. KCR is only solely responsible for this. And this is a very psychological ploy. They are trying to bribe the voter just 2 days before the election. So the Election Commission of India, which is the body which controls these elections, they have gone ahead and stopped it. So what are these guys complaining about? They have no right to complain. They are blatantly lying. They have nothing to say. And let me put it to the people of Telangana who's watching this show. The Congress is never against any welfare scheme which will benefit the poor, which will benefit the farmers. And when our government comes, we have the right to Bharosa scheme, where the people of the farmers of Telangana, not only the farmers who own land, but the tenants and the laborers will get their fair share of money, which they have been getting since the last 5 years.
Well, the irony there, as you rightly mentioned, is that they are promising 10,000, they are delivering 10,000, and you are promising 15,000. So it's competitive revenue politics is what some political parties may perhaps say. But I'm going to go back to Mr. Bigala on that. Mr. Bigala, the curious question that many are wondering is that when all these years the scheme was, or the disbursement happens in December, why is it suddenly being advanced to November this year, sir? Is it because of the rains, or is it because of the polls?
No. See, the money is being disbursed from the October to January. And if you look at the past history in the last 11 disbursement, if you take the history, and they were done between October and November as well. Even the Congress wrote the letter to the EC even before, well before the notification that, you know, this disbursement should happen before the November the 3rd. But EC, the TRS party requested to the EC that, you know, we are planning to disburse on the 24th, and we got the clearance. But ultimately, what is the intention of the Congress? They don't want this money to reach to the farmers. And it's very, very insulting on they're making remarkable allegations on the party and as well as in the farmers that it is a kind of, they're treating it as a bribe. It's a very insulting, he's insulting the farmers.
Well, so, sir, at the end of the day, the Congress, we have complained, but the decision has been taken by the Election Commission. Let me quickly bring in the BJP on that. One of the things cited, Anil Antony, by the BRS in their representation to the Election Commission after this, crackdown by the Election Commission is that if the PM Kisan scheme is allowed, this should also be allowed, because there's no difference, and I'm quoting, there's no difference between the schemes insofar as farmers are concerned and farmer welfare is concerned. Please respond to that, Anil Antony.
Thank you, Madhav. Thank you for having me in your show. So first of all, I would like to bring 2-3 points here. One, I would again very categorically say that right now it has become very fashionable for all our opposition parties, whether it is a BRS, whether it is the Congress party, to blame the Bharatiya Janata Party for any decision which doesn't go their own way, which is taken by an independent institution in this country. For instance, right now you have a lot of legal proceedings that is going on against the BRS leaders, and then the Congress party was in an ironic manner actually accusing the Bharatiya Janata Party of colluding with the BRS because the cases are not going the way they want to go. Similarly, right now the Election Commission, this has nothing to do with the Bharatiya Janata Party in any manner. The Election Commission actually has stopped the dispersal 1 day before the polls because this was a clear violation of the Model Code of Conduct. This, like my esteemed panelist from the BRS already mentioned, this is a scheme that is ongoing for a long time. So this time also the Election Commission had given them the permission to continue the scheme as long as they don't publicize it, and there were some conditions that were already made by the Election Commission 1 day before they break it, and the Election Commission then says that okay, till the end of Model Code of Conduct you can't do it. So it is not even that the scheme is discontinued or anything, you are talking about a matter of 4 to 5 days. So here this is a situation that is created by the BRS, where one day before, so 28th is the last day of campaigning, 30th is the day of poll, and then after the campaigning is over, one day before the election, when one of the minister, the finance minister itself, is making a blatant attempt to subvert certain rules to, let's say, entice the voters in a manner which the election commission thought is not something which is fair on elections, and so they made a decision. This is as simple as that.
Yeah,
and then you come to the second part, that is what is the difference between the Bharatiya Janata Party and our political opponents. Again, let me clarify. The Bharatiya Janata Party, since Prime Minister Modi ji became the head of our government, we had been focusing on certain core avenues of governance where our first focus is growth. Where, let's say, from 2014 onwards till 2023, India has been the fastest growing economy. Every single year we are growing. At the same time, to ensure that growth is inclusive and we follow our motto of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, we are again, what is our second priority? It is to ensure that we empower the people. How? We are ensuring that heart capacity is created through most of our schemes. For example, the PM Housing Yojana, 4 crore houses has been created. Let's say our Jal Jeevan Mission, 40 crore tap water connections have been given. Crores of gas connections have been given. Crores of toilets have been created. You know, every single Indian right now is a beneficiary of a digital public infrastructure.
There's still a lot as far as what's happened today that has to be discussed. And I'm going to come to the development debate in just a minute. But let me bring in Laggani Srinivas. Laggani Srinivas, Anil Antony makes a point that earlier we saw even the Vice President of the Congress Party, Mr. Niranjan say. He says that I have not stopped the funds. But if the BRS leaders like Mr. Harish Rao are blatantly violating conditions of the Election Commission, should we not complain about that?
Good evening, Madhav, and a very good evening to all the Times Now viewers. See, we'll have to look at this farmers issue in a completely different perspective. See, this is a one of its kind of a scheme which is directly providing financial aid to the farmers. If you look at it, keeping aside the politics, if you look at this as a farmer's perspective, across the nation, our farming community is a one important community which...
No doubt, sir, but why are you violating the Election Commission's conditions? Simple question. As a political party, the scheme may be a welfare scheme for the farmers, but that doesn't give the BRS or any political party the right to violate Model Code of Conduct. We just, let's stick to the facts at hand. Nobody's debating the validity of the scheme at this moment.
Mr. Madhav, see, you know, if you look at it, there is a lot of confusion created by the political parties. If you look at this, the same scheme was stopped by the Congress, where Mr. Manik Rao Thakur has written a letter to Election Commission, and then they gave the approval. And then after that, once they gave the approval, and the BRS party has started processing it, and then there was a point came in saying that the code of violation. See, if you look at it, there was a confusion earlier created by the Congress party. Now, it's the responsibility of the BRS
How is the Congress created confusion when the statement is coming from Mr. Rao?
Or not. See, if you look at it, being a finance minister, it is his responsibility to communicate to the farmers who are actually listening whether it is coming or not. So he explained that the Rythu Bandhu scheme is now approved by
Tushar
the EC, and you are getting
Tushar Gupta, please respond to Laggani Srinivas. He says it's the duty of the finance minister to communicate this to the people. And that's what he's done.
Look, elections cannot be an excuse to pause any welfare measures. I think we all agree on that. The Election Commission agrees on that. In 2018 also, the disbursement was not a problem. In 2023, it was also allowed. There was one and only one condition, that it should not be publicized. Now, if the BRS wants people to believe that just dispersing the money 3 days before the polls, when it does it in December, both in 21 and 22, Madhav, the disbursement started after 15th December. Now, they might want to prepone the disbursement for whatever reasons. Maybe there were rains, maybe it was better for the farmers. Then why not do it before 15th November?
Right.
Why wait for the final week of the polls for the disbursement to be made? Now, if they believe that the political undertone of that will be lost on anyone, it won't happen. And for the Congress, there's a catch-22 situation, because now on the ground, they have to manage the sentiment where they have to ensure they do not come across as an anti-farmer party. They are in a catch-22 situation themselves. And to blame the BJP for the decision of the Election Commission honestly is futile. Because at the end, it's not the BJP but the Election Commission that is having a problem with such publicized statements. And as to the last panelist who said that the finance minister has to acquaint the farmers of the state with the disbursements. So you had the entire period during your campaigning to talk elaborately about the scheme, to talk about the benefits of the scheme, to talk about the work done under the scheme, to talk about the future potential of the scheme. But if you're going to leave the disbursement just 72 hours before the polls, questions will be asked.
Lagani, respond to that. Respond to that. You had all the time in the world to, communicate the benefits of the scheme. Just 2 days before the campaigning ends, you want to again, despite Election Commission banning you from expressly doing so. Why rake up this issue?
Farmers are waiting whether the Rythu Bandhu scheme is coming or not. So it is a responsibility of the financial minister to convey that the Rythu Bandhu scheme is now available by the Election Commission.
After the polling happens or way before the polling happens.
Why are we really politicizing this particular... See, if you look at Rythu Bandhu scheme is the financial aid to the farmers.
Yeah, we all know that. We all know that. The question is why are you violating the terms of the Election Commission? I think we're going around in circles, Lagani. I can understand maybe a difficult argument for you to defend today. But let me bring in the Congress party. The end of the day, Rohan Mitra, you have a situation where the Congress party has also seen a small crackdown here by the Election Commission. Your ads where you are putting out various guarantee schemes, the track record of the Karnataka government, the Election Commission clearly feels that too is in violation. So, the end of the day, the BJP may come out and question you as to when you have yourself been violating that model code of conduct, how are you questioning the BRS?
Madhav, we are not questioning the BRS. We are not questioning the Election Commission. You asked me a question. And this is what has played out today. There was a condition in place about the Rythu Bandhu scheme by the Election Commission. The BRS knew, the Congress knew, the BJP knew, everyone knew about it. It was not a hidden factor. It was completely transparent to everyone. Now today, as you just said, when the model code of conduct is there, and if our ads are going to be taken away, so be it. If the Election Commission thinks that our ads from Karnataka are violating the laws of the elections, we are ready to accept that. We will put up a case in front of the Election Commission. We have time till tomorrow. We are going to put up a case. We are not... And see, even Madhav, going back a step, nobody is stopping welfare schemes for the people. Nobody wants the farmers to suffer. The BRS is trying to make out an issue out of which there was no issue. Everything was there. There was a transparency in this whole process. The conditions were known to each and every player in this Telangana election. So for the BRS and for the AIMM to say that the Congress is stopping the farmers from getting their money, that's just an absolute lie. Okay. They had from January to October to give out the money, or they could have given out the money after the election polling day has gone. Okay. No, but they had to choose tomorrow as the day so that, and also blatantly they were publicizing that it is a KCR thing and you're going to have it on your phones. Remember KCR and vote. So obviously, the Election Commission has its own videographers who are there independently listening to these, the rallies which are covered by the big leaders.
Yeah, let me bring in Mahesh Bigala on that. Mahesh Bigala, at the end of the day, you're very nervous about the Congress and their own guarantees and bharosas that they've given in Karnataka and are now promising there in the state of Telangana, because through the campaign, we've also seen, in fact, leaders such as Rythu Reddy say that the BRS manifesto is nothing but a copy of what the Congress has given in terms of bharosa. So that's really what the Congress is trying to say. They're nervous about the threat that's emerging from the Congress party, which they believe is resurging in the state of Telangana. Please respond, Mahesh, to that.
So we don't even care what is happening in the state of Karnataka. That's why we didn't even go to the EC and complain. It is the Congress is worried too much about the Rythu Bandhu's disbursement. They are the ones, if there is a violation in the moral code of conduct, EC would have taken the action, but before that even the Congress want to act first and the right
They've taken action. What do you mean would have taken action? They have taken action today. That's what we're debating.
Before they were taking the action, the Congress intervened.
They actually allowed you 2 days ago and they decided to take action today when you violated the terms.
Farmers of Telangana are watching who is against and who is believing they have trust in the KCR, and they know that if not today, after 3 days, they're going to get that money. But they will see, definitely they will punish the Congress for that actions. And when it comes to the Karnataka, whatever the advertisements, whatever they're planning, the people of Karnataka, they themselves won't believe, and how can even the people of Telangana believe the schemes of Karnataka? That's why we are not too much bothered about the Karnataka schemes, or even they talk about 3 hours of current and 10 HP motor, and The KCR is already giving 24 hours of power and water. So people of Telangana...
So those development schemes are already there on ground. Anil, Antony, I want you to come in because the BJP was a complainant as far as the Congress's advertisements were concerned. The Karnataka government advertisements were concerned. The BRS says, we don't care about what's happened in Karnataka. But the BJP clearly, it's not the same story. The BJP has complained about it. The Election Commission has taken action. But what do you make about this battle over the guarantees and bharosas that's currently underway between the BRS and the Congress, Anil?
So is it
to all the people of Telangana and to every person in the country, we have been making, we have been bringing to light some regarding some of these manifesto promises that both the BRS and the Congress have been making. First of all, you earlier had raised a question regarding our schemes, where earlier the Bharatiya Janata Party had also extended our Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana to 80 crore citizens in this country, but that is not limited to any election going state, and that is something which is an ongoing scheme for the entire country, and that was done at a time which was, let's say, it was not done 1 or 2 days before the election, and it didn't have any election in mind. But you look at the BRS and the Congress, both of them, the Bharatiya Janata Party had been very categorically saying that both are trying to bribe and fool the people. The BRS, there was a very clear condition that was made by the Election Commission that
are you calling this revenue politics? Are you calling this revenue politics, Anil Antony?
As long as you don't publicize it. They don't publicize it. Okay, they publicize it. But here the timing, here the most important factor is the timing, where the campaign is over. On the 28th, the campaign is over. 30th is the day of polls. And on a scheme which, let's say, the last 2-3 years they have been dispersing in December and end of December, they are actually doing it 1 day before the polls. So obviously there is a problem with the timing.
You're bribing the voters blatantly, Mahesh Bigala, and that's why there's a problem. Respond to Anil Antony. He says you're blatantly bribing the voters of Telangana.
One more point regarding the Congress party.
Okay, quickly, 30 seconds, make your point, very quickly.
Now, regarding the Congress party, I want to bring one point. Regarding the Congress party, again the Bharatiya Janata Party has been saying it very clearly. The last 2-3 years, the Congress party has been categorically rejected by the people of this country or almost every state election, but wherever, let's say Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, in long time back they won in Madhya Pradesh, everywhere they had made promises in their manifesto. There are specific examples. But after they won, 6 months, 1 year down the line, they haven't delivered on anything. So here the Congress now has perfected a model of scamming the public through manifestos, where they make a lot of these kind of promises. They promises the moon, but after the elections they don't act on it. So both these parties, one way or the other, are actually trying to bribe or fool the people.
Okay, both the parties are trying to bribe and fool the people one by one. Rohan, I'm going to come to you first and then I go across to Mahesh Bigala. Rohan, you're trying to bribe and fool the people. You've promised a lot in Karnataka and not delivered. And you're doing exactly the same thing in Telangana all over again, says Anil Antony. Please respond to him.
Yeah, Madhav, the fact of the matter is I don't want to answer his specifics because, he first said that the Congress hasn't won elections and he remembered that, Himachal Pradesh and the Karnataka, as the Congress has just won the elections. And we are quite confident on December 3rd, we are going to win 5 states, the 5 state assembly elections. Coming back to a couple of points regarding the BJP's accusations, we heard the Prime Minister speak in Telangana that the BRS was approaching them for an alliance. We saw what happened in Karnataka. Right after the elections got over, the Prime Minister the Mr. Devagowda and Mr. Kumaraswamy, the people the Prime Minister was accusing of dynasty and everything, today the BJP is in power with in an alliance with them. So after 3rd of December, I'm telling you, Madhav, the BRS and the BJP and the AIM all are going to be in the NDA and they are going to be taking on the India alliance partners. Okay. And we are going to beat them in 2024. And 3rd of December is just a prelude to that.
Okay, Tushar is smiling. Tushar, you want to respond to that quickly?
I always admire Rohan's optimism when it comes to the alliance and the whole seat sharing arrangement. I've always admired his optimism. But the truth of the fact is, on the ground, both BRS and Congress have a crisis of credibility. In Karnataka, there were an array of promises made. They have not been delivered. There is visible anger amongst the people, which will translate into some significant losses for the Congress in terms of vote share in 2024. We are also
seeing what's going on in Himachal Pradesh, how the state government is now struggling to pay off the salaries also. And one of their alliance partners in Punjab, Madhav, since we're talking about fiscal health of the states and promises and being delivered, what has Aam Aadmi Party done in the state of Punjab? The entire state budget is on borrowings. So it's pretty rich for Rohan Mitra to claim that the alliance is going to sort of defeat the BJP in 2024 and win the Lok Sabha elections. I just see it as unmatched optimism.
All right, it's unmatched optimism. Mahesh Bigala, your response to that. Are we going to see BRS as part of either the NDA or the India alliance, as some of our panelists are predicting, post-poll?
BRS has its own national interest, and we are not going to be part of NDA or India. We are going to form our own front. We're going to maintain the equal distance between the India and
What if
NDA.
there's a hung assembly, sir? What if there's a hung assembly? Many independent observers are saying if there's a hung assembly, you may actually be forced to go one way or the other.
So we will come back on the December 3rd. You will see at least 80 to 90 seats for TRS, and the BJP will not even win single digit from the state of Telangana. And
well, there are a lot of big ifs. There are a lot of big ifs there, Mahesh Bigala, and we'll certainly, of course, save your statement here and keep it in our minds on the 3rd of December when the numbers do come out. And if there is the possibility of no party making it on its own post that day after the counting. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Anil Antony, Tushar Gupta, Rohan Mitra, Mahesh Bigala, Lagani Srivas. Stay with us for the second part of the show today, where we'll be bringing you some ground reports to give you a better understanding of what's happening in northern Telangana.